Hey, it's Gabe with API Nation. Wouldn't it be great to have a year-end review scorecard, something telling you exactly how 2021 went for your business? Well, we have it. It's ready. You can use it now. Let me show you how to set it up using the Transaction zipForm edition and Google Sheets sync. So this is what this scorecard looks like. You can see it's taking everything from the past year to date, and it's mapped out the transaction statuses, how many total deals my company did, the volume, what zip codes were hot, how the listings progressed, how we obtained more and more listings throughout the year, and then the selling volume and the listing volume. And I can hover over this and see different values as we go along. It's really great. It can be super helpful for you and your team to see exactly what happened this year. Let me show you how to set it up. First, we're going to connect Transaction zipForm edition and Google Sheets. So I'm going to go to apination.com, and here I'm going to click Discover Connections to get taken to the apps. Great, and then I'm just going to scroll on down to Transaction zipForm edition. You can see a bunch of different real estate apps here. If any of them look familiar, definitely click on them and you can see the integrations available for each app. Here's Transactions. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to click on Google Sheets to begin setting this up. So you can read a little bit more about the integration here. If you click here, you'll see the sample data, kind of an example of what these spreadsheets will look like once you create the integration. But I'm going to go ahead and just sign in to Transaction zipForm edition and start the integration. So I'm going to use my zipForm username, zipForm password. So this is the username and password I use to sign into zipForm. And then I'm going to put the email address that is best to reach me. So my professional email address. And then I'm going to hit Connect Transaction zipForm edition. Great. Transaction zipForm edition is now connected. I'm going to go ahead and connect Google Sheets and choose my professional Google account and allow. All right, so there's a few options here. You can see we're going to create a spreadsheet full of zipForm transactions, one full of the participants that have been involved in all the transactions, and then also the events. So anything you have scheduled for your calendar is also going to be on a separate spreadsheet. So this is going to be 3 spreadsheets coming out of this one integration. I can filter it by transaction status. By default, we have active and pending, but I can go ahead and add prospecting. Definitely want to add closed. Let's do all of them. And then if I want, I can also filter by team. I'm going to sync all on first run. That way it gets all the transactions throughout the year. That way they all show up on my dashboard. I'm going to hit Start Sync. That's it. You can see I now have 3 workflows, one for transactions, one for events, and one for participants, creating 3 spreadsheets in my Google Drive. That leads us to step 2, locate your new sheet. We are going to find that transaction sheet in our Google Drive. So I'm going to open up a new tab and I'm going to go to drive.google.com. And Google does a great job of just putting the newest files that have been added to the drive up at the top. You can see here's zipForm transactions, but if you don't see it here, you can just search for it using the search bar. I see I have zipForm transactions and we're all ready to go. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to copy this URL and we're going to use that in the next step. So I'm going to just highlight that, Control C to copy it, and now it's on my clipboard and I'm ready for the next step. In this step, we're going to copy the template of the scoreboard and we're going to plug in that spreadsheet we just looked at. So this is a piece of cake. All you have to do is click on the link down below. It's a link to a Google Data Studio template. That is the scoreboard we're going to use. So here's that scoreboard. I'm just going to click on these 3 dots, hit make a copy, and then I'm going to choose a new data source. I'm going to use the data source we've just created, that spreadsheet we just added. So I'm going to scroll all the way down here to create data source. Select Google Sheets. And then I'm going to choose this URL option to choose my Google Sheet and paste in that sheet we just created. So that URL we just copied, I'm going to paste it in right there and hit connect. Now you're going to see all the fields come up from this sheet. If you want, you can go through and just make sure dates are being treated as dates. Prices are being treated as numbers and not text. Everything looks great. I'm going to hit add to report and copy report. That's it. This is now my copy of that scoreboard. I can play around with the dates. I can choose different transaction types. I can go ahead and add new charts and graphs if I'd like, and create an even more helpful scorecard for my team. So there it is. That's how you create the Transactions zipForm Edition scoreboard, so you can review your entire year and so you can use it for the upcoming year and keep track of exactly how your team is doing. If you have any questions or ideas, give us a phone call, shoot us an email. We're API Nation, connecting the world's applications. We love doing this stuff.